Hi, today I'm going to show you how to fry beef with homemade egg noodles. First, you need to have this noodle making machine by Philips. This is the machine itself, and this machine comes with multiple attachments. The attachment I have on right now, this makes the normal Hokkien Mee noodles, and the other attachments that it comes with allows you to make wonton skins, fine vermicelli type noodles, as well as even pennies. The machine also comes with two measuring cups. The one on the left is for measuring the eggs and water, and the one on the right is for measuring flour. First, fill the measuring cup to the brim with flour. Next, in the measuring cup for the liquid, break in 1 egg if you're using 1 cup of flour. If you're using 2, then put in 2 eggs. Then fill up with normal water up to the first level mark, equivalent to 1 cup of flour. How we can see the measurement here. You can see the one at the bottom shows 1 cup of flour, and the one on the measuring on top shows 2 cups of flour. Break the yolk and give this a light stir. You don't have to be mixed very well. As long as the yolk is broken and is lightly stirred, that's fine. Next, pour the cup of flour into the machine. Okay, next, you close the cover. Turn on the power for the machine. You see a 5 there. Now, the button on this right here shows bounciness. That means how bouncy or how firm you want the noodles to be. You make it longer, you churn it longer, it becomes a bit firmer. So usually I put it at 7 minutes. Start the machine. And you find the spindle moving. Now once the machine is churning and turning, what you need to do now is slowly pour in the egg liquid from the top like this. Pouring slowly while the machine mixes the thing below. And that's it. Now all you have to do is just watch and wait for the magic to happen. Look at this. This is the machine doing its magic. It's literally mixing the dough for the noodles. 3 minutes left to go. And this is what it looks like now. You can see the dough clumping together. Alright, 27 seconds left to go. That's what it looks like now. Okay, we've got 5 more seconds. Let's see what happens. Stops. And now it goes in the opposite direction, and this is where you watch the magic happen. You can see the noodles coming out. Here you go. Look at that. Homemade egg noodles. Now what you need to do is, one, it reaches the length that you want, you can use a spatula or a knife to just cut it off and wait for the next strand to come out. Or if you want, you can leave it to be one whole long strand. Up to you. I'm going to leave it about this length. I'm going to give it a quick trim. Okay, for the next batch. Let me show you what the inside looks like right now. There's still quite a bit of dough left in here. And you can see the timer. Okay, right now you can see that the dough is almost done. Nothing much left in here at all. Okay, the machine has stopped and it's rotating in the opposite direction to make sure that all the remaining dough is cleared. So it's just a little small lump, a few lumps left. We're trying to extract that out again at the same time, make those into noodles. Now it goes back in the position to start pushing the dough through the holes again, so as not to waste the remaining dough. You can see it's coming out again. It's a very efficient machine. Right, this is the third time the machine is doing a counter rotation, again to clear out any small amounts of dough that's still left. You can see there's still some clumps left. Alright, the machine is done. So I'm going to cut off these noodles. And I'm going to show you what's left of, or if there's anything left of the dough that's in the machine. You can look, it's almost clean. Just one or two little pellets at the bottom. But almost all the dough is gone. Next, you need to cook the noodles. So boil a pot of water. Make sure that the water is like a rolling boil, and then you can start putting in the noodles. Now try and put it in single strands like this. Break it up as much as you can before it goes in, so they won't stick together. It's quite easy to break it apart. If you have any problems with the noodles sticking together, you can just put in a little bit of flour in the noodles so that it won't stick together, right? Now once the noodles are in, give it a gentle stir to make sure that the noodles are not sticking together. You can see that they are individual strings like this. That's good. Now let it cook for about 5 minutes. You can drain it, and you can start using the noodles to fry the beef dish. Alright, after the noodle has been cooking for 5 minutes, it's time to drain the noodles. Pour into a strainer like so. Be careful. And you have beautiful homemade noodles for you to cook. Okay, the first thing we need to do is to prepare the ingredients. So get a nice piece of beef. It could be a chuck meat, or it could even be a flank steak. This is a piece of flank steak. I'm going to cut into thin slices, as thin as you can. And remember to cut across the grain, not along. So the grains are following this way. What you need to do is cut it across. Alright, like so. To season the beef, put in 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, light soy sauce. Put in a dash of Worcester sauce. I use this brand, Lee & Perrins. This Worcester sauce goes very well with beef. And last but not least, add in half a teaspoon of corn flour. This will help to tenderize the beef. Use your hands and mix the beef well and leave it for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes for it to marinate. Next, shred some carrots like what I showed you using a shredder like this. Here you go, shredded carrots. Next, prepare all the vegetables that you're going to add in. I have got spring onions, I've got onions, any kind of vegetables. You can even use broccoli, but I'm using jielan. Shredded carrots, hoisin sauce, and oyster sauce. Let's start cooking. So first thing, make sure that the wok is heated up. It is hot. Add in some olive oil. Now let the oil heat up. Alright, once you see the oil shimmering, you know that it is pretty hot. The first thing you do, put in the beef. What you want to do is try and sear the beef as much as you can. Spread it out and let it sear. You will find that the beef will produce some juices. You need to let the juice evaporate, or else the beef will be pretty soggy. So leave it alone and let it sear. And once it turns a little bit brown on one side, you can turn it to the other side to sear as well. Start flipping the beef over. You can see the piece of beef, if it's brown on one side, that side is ready. So just let it cook the other side. Okay, when you see that the beef is quite nicely seared, next thing you do, put in the onions. Onions goes very well with beef. But again, you know, some people do not like onions. You can always leave that out. Stir fry till you see the onions have softened a little. Once you see the onions have softened a little, put in some garlic. Remember, don't put in the garlic first because the garlic will burn. This way, the garlic will not burn and the flavor of the garlic will be infused into all the meat and the onions. Once that's been frying for a while, add in the carrots. Next, put in the vegetables, whichever vegetables you are using. If you're using broccoli, put in broccoli earlier so that you will let the broccoli cook. But if you're using leafy vegetables, you can always add it nearer to the end or even after you add the noodles. But for me, I'll typically add at this point in time so that give the leafy vegetables a bit of time to cook. Now, at this time, add in about 2 tablespoons of water. Next, add in 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. And 1 tablespoon of hoisin sauce. Put in some black pepper if you want. Last but not least, pour in the noodle. And stir it well. Add in about a tablespoon of dark soy sauce. This is to make the noodle color darker and make it a bit more appetizing. Now at this point in time, add another 2 tablespoons of water and then cover it to let it cook. Now after been cooking for about 5 to 10 minutes, open the lid, and to really elevate the flavor, what I normally do is sprinkle a little bit of cayenne pepper. This elevates the flavor of the dish for whatever dish you cook. Now it's almost done. The last thing you need to do now is put in the spring onion. Give it a quick stir. And you're done. Here you go. My beef fried with homemade egg noodles. Enjoy.